You can always count on the idiots at Fox News to try to explain away anything Donald Trump does. Listen to this stupid conversation this morning on Fox and Friends.
There's an item in the New York Post that we all have in front of us. It's an exclusive story, and it talks about how with these 104% tariffs that went into effect, you know, we think that China is going to have to pay for it, but it tells a story of a special needs toy importer. And when the tariffs went into effect at midnight, his tariff, he's been paying a tariff because he gets stuff from China, $26,000 a year. His tariff bill went from $26,000 at midnight to $346,000. And that's money he's going to have to come out of his pocket. It sounds like he's going to have to go ahead and close down part of his business. He tried to make the toys in the United States, but the tariff on that, his most popular item, went from $0 to $17 at midnight. And what he told the New York Post is people don't understand the tariff situation. They think just foreign countries are paying for the tariffs. That's not true. Half of the tariffs are being paid for by U.S.-based companies. Yeah. So when you look at the big numbers and they look good, just remember that according to this guy, half of the small businesses and half of the tariffs are being paid by Americans.
I'm sorry, did they actually say that this guy said that tariffs are being paid by Americans? But I thought dumbass Donald Trump told us nobody here was going to pay for it. These people are nuts. Lawrence B. Jones is sitting there saying, well, I think the elites have had it so well, but Trump, we just have to just let things just happen and calm down. And it's going to work out for the American worker. The hell are you talking about? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. My panel, Andrew Clark, managing partner, District Legal Group, joining us from D.C. Joy Cheney, founder of Joy Strategies out of D.C. Michael Imhotep, host African History Network show out of Detroit. Glad to have all three of you here. I sit here, Andrew, and these people, they talk, and stupid stuff comes out. They lie. They're not being honest. Every now and then, they occasionally will actually speak the truth. You have Steve Doocy, who's sitting there. I mean, again, truly one of the dumbest people. I mean, you know it's something when you're Steve Doocy and you're one of the dumbest people on TV and you end up looking like a Rhodes Scholar when Sean Hannity's fiance, Ainsley Earnhardt, and that idiot Brian Kilmeade are sitting right next to you. I mean, that is an incredible feat by itself. But they sit here and they go through this stuff and they lie. And literally, the people who are watching are like, well, they said things are going to be okay, so they're going to be okay. They are all liars.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing about these tariffs and something that I can't understand is they keep trying to talk about they're bringing back these manufacturing jobs. What manufacturing jobs are they bringing back? Over in China, they're making $5.31 an hour in these factories. How can we compete with that? Even with 100% tariff, 125% tariff, how can we compete with $5.31 on a tariff? So on a per hour. So I just don't understand what the logic is behind it, because the only people that are clearly going to suffer are the American people. When we go into the grocery stores, when we have our small business closing, and the only thing that we can do is go to these big box retailers who are going to be able to set whatever price they want for things, right? Because they're not going to absorb the prices. They're not going to take food out of their children's mouth. They're going to take food out of our children's mouth, out of our hands, and close down all of these small businesses that are competing with them, Roland.
What's amazing to me, Joy, is that he was lying when he was running. He was straight lying. And these idiots actually fell for it. Donald Trump had to go home and go, because he wasn't talking to Melania because she don't talk to him. So he was probably talking to one of his aides who said, couldn't you actually believe these dumbasses believe the lies that I sold them on? They fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
They have continuously fallen for it hook, line, and sinker. Donald Trump has been talking about tariffs and getting it wrong for decades. For decades. The only people who didn't understand what were going to happen with tariffs were the people who voted for him. Everyone else understood, including economists, understood that this was going to be a disaster, not only for the world economy, but for the American economy. There are no surprises here. What I find amazing is that he tends to spin the fact that companies have been at his doors, not China, by the way, but others. And look, everyone, of course, wants to make a deal, but it's for someone who is an economic terrorist, right, which is almost what he is, wreaking havoc on the entire world. Of course, people are willing to come to you and wanting to negotiate, but he is in a desperate position. He needs them to negotiate because it's his people who are knocking on his door and saying, this is not what we thought we voted for. You are messing up. And by the way, when I say his people, I don't mean the rank and file people who voted for him. I mean the corporate oligarchs that funded his campaign and that ultimately capitulated to him. Even they are saying, no, this is unacceptable. The stock market is saying this is unacceptable and telling him in real time. So he is panicked. He is afraid. He sounded panicked and afraid. He did not sound strong. He sounded what he is, understanding that he's bit off more than he can chew, that people are not, the countries that he wants to have coming to him are not, that they are engaging in a war with him. They have the backing of their own people to do so. He doesn't have the backing of his people to do so. So Donald Trump is the major loser here. But the biggest loss is going to be felt by small business owners and about American workers. And last thing before I give it back to you, the people who are thinking that this is going to result in jobs for the American worker that they would want to have, it's so sad. Those jobs are gone. And if they were to somehow show back up here, they're going to be done by AI machines, right? They're going to be automated.
This is the one that,
and he's lied to people.
This is the one that cracks me up, Michael. This is what cracks me up the most. They're all calling and kissing my ass. No, they're not. and if they were, you would not have bent over.
Well, why would a 78-year-old man brag about people kissing his ass? There's something wrong with this guy. I'm serious. There's something wrong with this guy. This is the same guy paid $130,000 for Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about him having sex with her. This is the same guy. But, number one, it's a number of things on this, and I read the article today from the New York Times, sell-off in U.S. bonds and dollar raises questions about safe haven status because the overnight markets, China and Japan were dumping U.S. Treasury bonds, which are looked at as a safe haven. Today at the press conference, when you had Treasury Secretary Bessent and also you had Caroline Leavitt, one thing that did not come up was factory jobs coming back and companies building factories here in the U.S. because nothing that they said today would make companies want to invest in building new factories because it takes about 2.5 years to 4 years to really build a factory. OK, and then the other thing is what happens after the 90 days? What happens after the 90-day pause on the tariffs? Now, if he's such a good negotiator, why didn't he announce any deals that have been struck so far with any of these 75 countries? OK, the whole thing is ridiculous. What really set it off today, Roland, is that Goldman Sachs around 1 p.m. today upgraded the probability of a recession to 65%. OK, and Reuters has an article on this as well as Business Insider. And then about an hour or so later after that, Donald Trump comes out with his 90-day pause. But yesterday, when they were asked about it after economic advisor Kevin Hessett, after it was kind of presented that he said something like that, we saw a uptick in the market. The White House said, no, it's not going to be a 90-day pause. But then the next day, here you have a 90-day pause. So Donald Trump is scared. He saw the stock market continuing to tank. He's getting pressure, increased pressure from Republican senators, from some Republicans in the House, because they're getting massive pressure from Republican voters.
Right.
And also, Elon Musk yesterday called trade advisor Peter Navarro a moron and dumber than a sack of bricks. And it was Navarro who was the one who came up with this funny math for the tariffs. Okay, so all this is closing in on him. But this is a catastrophe. But it didn't have to be this way, because 400 economists back in September 2024 signed on to a letter stating that VP Kamala Harris's economic policy would be much better than Trump's, and Trump's would tank the economy.
Well, and that's why I keep saying that these folk are getting exactly what they wanted, and it's playing out. And so we all said, we tried to tell you, but y'all didn't want to listen. So that's where we are.
Here at Sage and Elm, it's a plant thing. Everything is made by hand from plants, from our salves to our soaps, our lotions, our oils. Come shop our over 400 products made by hand from plants just for you, because you deserve the best.
Did you know that the Washington Monument is based upon an ancient African structure called a tekken that comes from the mythology of Asar, Arset, and Heru, who the Greeks called Osiris, Isis, and Horus? Did you know that the panther deity Bast in the movie Black Panther and Wakanda Forever comes from an ancient African deity, a neter in ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet, called Bastet? Did you know that there were 17 pyramids found buried underneath Egypt around 2011? Also, the city of Memphis, Tennessee. What's the relationship between Memphis, Tennessee and Memphis in ancient Egypt? I'm historian and national political commentator Michael Imhotep. Be sure to register for my new 12-week online history course, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Kemet is one of the original names for Egypt. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. Did you know that the word Wakanda is a real word? We find it in the Key Congo language, which is a Bantu language, but we also find it in the Omaha Ponca and Sioux Indian Native American languages. My class starts up Saturday, March 1st, 2025, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a 12-week online history course. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. When we talk about the transatlantic slave trade, we can't start our studying of the history in 1619 in Hampton, Virginia, or in Jamestown. We can't start in 1441 with the transatlantic slave trade, starting with the Portuguese. We have to deal with thousands of years of history that leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. We'll deal with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors, who take the teachings from the Nile Valley region of Africa into Europe, and this is what brings Europe out of the Dark Ages. We'll talk about ancient African empires, whether we deal with ancient Nubia, whether we deal with Kush, Kemet, Mali, Songhai, Ghana. This is a 12-week online history course. We deal with 80 to 100 articles. There are 200 slides that I show you in the class. There are video clips. There are 15 books that we reference. You don't have to buy any of the books to follow along in class. It's a very visual class, so we show you all that information right on the screen. The class is PG-13 as well, so you can use this with your children. Download my lesson plan from my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Register right now. Right now, it's correct strong behaviors, not over till we win. Wakanda forever. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll see you in class. Peace.
Is your child struggling with reading, writing, learning loss, and a culturally irrelevant curriculum? Do you want your child to be outstanding at reading and writing and also take pride in their culture? Then you want Reading Revolution Online. Reading Revolution Online is a web-based reading support program. We serve scholars in grades K through 8, and through our innovative approach, we help them build reading confidence and cultural identity development, equipping them for success in school and life. They learn about Black heroes and sheroes through captioned videos, reading selections, and other activities. Reading Revolution online is an experience for the whole family. Do it for the culture. Go to readingrevolution.org and get your membership today.
Here at Sage and Elm, it's a plant thing. Everything is made by hand from plants, from our salves to our soaps, our lotions, our oils. Come shop our over 400 products made by hand.